Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Honourable Minister for Health and Medical Services. Would the Minister inform Parliament what is the criteria used to allocate funds from the 300,000 budgetary allocation to patients in urgent need of kidney dialysis at the Kidney Foundation?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would also like to thank the Honourable Member for asking the question. Madam Speaker, unfortunately, the Honourable Member's question reveals that he is not fully aware of the facts and that the government does not allocate any funds for the kidney dialysis carried out by the Kidney Foundation. The Kidney Foundation is a charitable trust which raises its own funds from donations and charges are paid by the patients who undergo dialysis. Madam Speaker, the government has allocated $300,000 over 2 years for the purchase of supplies for dialysis machines at CWM, Lautoka and Lambasa hospitals. These services are provided to patients in our public hospitals and in keeping with all other publicly funded health services are allocated in line with the clinical needs and patients' ability to benefit. Shall I continue, Madam Speaker? Thank you. In the interest of informing the House, Madam Speaker, and enlightening the members of the August House, I would also like to provide some more facts about dialysis. The government currently funds dialysis services for two distinctive groups of patients. Acute dialysis is offered at the main divisional hospitals, mainly for those with acute reversible kidney disease. These are patients who are identified through clinical assessments by our doctors. They typically have temporary kidney failure that will improve with the support of kidney hemodialysis treatment. The second group of patients, Madam Speaker, are those with chronic or incurable chronic kidney diseases who may receive dialysis up to 3 months prior to kidney transplant. These are patients who have had the organ transplants already arranged and who require assistance with hemodialysis as they await final preparations for the transplant procedure. Madam Speaker, Fiji cannot currently fund hemodialysis for all kidney chronic patients. The Ministry of Health and Medical Services recognizes the financial burden that regular dialysis can impose on and is exploring ways to exert downward pressure on fees through increasing competition. If I can further add into that, Madam Speaker, it is truly heartbreaking to know that every year in Fiji, about 600 people develop complete kidney failure or end-stage kidney disease. According to the latest WHO data published in May 2014, deaths attributable to kidney disease in Fiji reached 127, or roughly 1 in every 40 deaths. Fiji has one of the highest rates of NCDs, Madam Speaker, in the world, and this is having an impact on our workforce. And second highest rate of diabetes in the world, which is 15.6% of adults. 80% of NCDs are preventable, especially diabetes, cardiovascular diseases and stroke. Cancer is 40% preventable. Salt consumption in Fiji, Madam Speaker, is double the recommended amount. High blood pressure is increasing. 30% of Fijians are obese, and 97% of all adults in Fiji have moderate or high risk of dying from NCDs. Madam Speaker, as mentioned by the Minister, Honourable Usamate, at age 45 there is an exponential growth in those dying from NCDs, and this suggests that at the age 20 people are already sick, and NCD incurs 44.9% of health inpatients expenditure. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Health has its own plans for this challenge, but a lot of issues that lead to NCDs are not medical in origin, but social solutions which need to be social, in which a whole cross-section of society gets involved in assisting people to make better choices on what to eat and drink and breathe, and to exercise, and of course to take appropriate rest. Corporate bodies also need to regard this issue as a major challenge. From a Ministry of Employment perspective, Madam Speaker, we are concerned and heard yesterday about the impact of this on the workforce, premature retirement, absenteeism, and in 2010, the World Economic Forum pointed to NCD as the most severe threat to economic development. Given the increasing trend in kidney diseases, this has also become a great concern for the Ministry of Health, and as such, we are moving in the direction to look at sustainable ways to support the development of nephrology, clinical care for kidney disease, together with public health programs, to support awareness and education for all Fijians on how to care for their kidneys. Madam Speaker, as the saying goes, prevention is better than cure. As the way forward to address this issue, kidney health includes supporting wellness and prevention, and particularly prevention of diabetes, which is the most significant contributor to kidney failure in Fiji. Madam Speaker, I do worry sometimes, though, that as a society we may be starting to view dialysis as something that is almost routine, something that we expect people to experience as part of the aging process. The growth in diabetes will inevitably and sadly lead to an increase in the demand for dialysis. But that just highlights the importance of a national effort to reduce the impact of kidney diseases, and it requires a collaborative effort. Madam Speaker, hard to measure but not insignificant are the costs of pain and suffering associated with life on dialysis, which in general are estimated to be much higher than the cost associated with having a transplant. Also nearly impossible is to calculate the cost to society when dialysis stops patients from walking, leads to disability, lost revenue and financial and emotional stress on family and needs. And not to note that patients who go on disability when they start dialysis really return to work, even after a transplant. As such, Madam Speaker, living a healthy lifestyle to combat and overcome the risks of non-communicable diseases such as kidney disease is surely one of the sustainable ways to protect our families from the impact of kidney dialysis. Thank you.
Professor Devan Prasad.
Supplementary, Madam Speaker. Is the Minister aware that the regular kidney dialysis patients are finding it extremely hard, Madam Speaker, to pay for the cost, which is very high? Is she aware of that? And many of them are not able to afford that. And as a result, they die. So, you know, I want to know from the Minister whether she's aware and whether there is plan to increase the allocation so that we can pay for or subsidize some of the cost for the regular kidney dialysis patients.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for the question. Madam Speaker, I've just informed the House, yes, we are aware, we are concerned, and yes, we are looking at ways how best we can combat this challenge to the Ministry of Health. For the information of the House, Madam Speaker, we, like I said, CWM Hospital, Lautoka Hospital and Lambasa Hospital has its own dialysis for the acute patients. For chronic patients, the Board of Visitors at Lambasa Hospital have started up the dialysis center, which has indeed reduced some cost, and those are the future plans for CWM Lautoka as well.
Thank you. Honourable Noikulu.
Honourable Minister has just outlined the failures of his ministry on two fronts, on fighting kidney problem and on NCDs in general. $300,000 is not enough. And his government, and the government of that side, is paying $9 million for some rich people to come and play golf here. Can you assure this House that you will be looking at more allocations to fight NCD and kidney?
To preaching and sermonizing, when really what he needs to be able to do is ask a supplementary question. A supplementary question, a question has a question mark at the end. You do not have a full stop at the end. You ask a question and expect an answer.
Thank you. Thank you. As has been the practice, the person asking supplementary question is given 1 minute to have background leading up to the question and also to ask the question. Thank you. The question has been asked?
The question is, given that you're giving $9 million for people to come and play golf, can you also consider to increase your budgetary allocation to fight NCD and kidney problems? $300,000 is not enough.
Thank you. The honours is on you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's
definitely that was not a question.
I'd
recommending
she wants to answer it.
discussion.
I want to answer that. Madam Speaker, it's really sad, actually it's really sad to note that when questions are asked and responses are given, the members on the other side do not seem to listen. I mean, I've never said this in the House before, but I have to say, it's a very sad and a concerning issue for the Ministry. I've said it, okay? And all Madam Speaker, they talk about, Madam Speaker, and all the other side talks about is government failure. I think instead of selective hearing, they also have selective sight. They don't want to see the good that's happening. And Madam Speaker, you wish. Honourable Nawaikula, you wish. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, it's a budgetary question and budget submissions are going on. And of course, if it's a concern for me, I will look into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Ratnanongo.
Supplementary question, Madam Speaker.
Question.
We do all understand the hardship faced by the dialysis patients in trying to be cured from this epidemic. And since they are most vulnerable population within the society, can the Honourable Minister advise this August House as to why they cannot be provided with this treatment free of charge so that we can give them a new lease of life, Madam Speaker?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think that was already explained, but for the benefit of the Honourable Member and this August House. Madam Speaker, all I hear is why can't government allocate more funds? I don't hear from the other side how they can educate our people. I've said prevention is better than cure. No. Again, Madam Speaker, I think, Madam Speaker, they're very confused again. Again, I don't want to say these things, but it's very confusing. You don't listen to what we say. We need, has somebody actually, on the other side, have you actually calculated the cost of dialysis treatment? Yeah, that's for you to say, Tala. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I give the floor to Honorable William Ngavoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Minister has talked about the cost that is difficult to estimate how much it will cost. But in terms of a ballpark figure, do you know how much it will cost to provide this across the country for free? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Is a statistical question as well as it associated with cost, but from what we have gathered, the minimum cost for kidney dialysis per patient per session is around $250. At Lambasa Hospital, we provided for $200, and the other competitors have come up and set it on a similar rate. So with 3 sessions per week, we are looking at around $30,000 to $40,000 per patient. And if it's a chronic patient, Honorable Gavoka, then that treatment goes on for 20, 30 years as that person survives. So if somebody starts dialysis at the age of 40, we will keep that patient on dialysis for the next 20, 25 years as long as the patient lives. So that's a challenge for us as well.
I'll now give the floor to the Honorable Parmochan.
Thank you. Supplementary question. Madam Speaker, the Minister referred to the Lambasa Hospital that the dialysis center there charges $200, but may I correct her, it is $150. And I would just like to ask the Minister if it is possible to see that the people in Lambasa are given better benefit given the economy of Lambasa. If the government can consider helping those people that are unable to pay the $150. I know that you referred that government doesn't have money. So you said something like that there is no allocation for the dialysis. And what I'm seeking here, at least for Banua Levu, there should be some funding. Nothing there. You only go and blow your nose there, that's all.
Thank you.
You only make too much sound in Mombasa, that's all.
Order.
Madam Speaker, I would like my question to be answered.
Order. 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 Do you have attention? Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, once again, very limited. Talking about Lambasa, here we have a government that wants to look at the interest of every Fijian. And Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I never said that we have an issue with budget, but that program is not in place at the moment. And Madam Speaker, again for the information of the House, the cost of dialysis in Fiji is pretty high. It's because the consumables are very expensive. The volumes are very little, and that's why there's a price hike into the dialysis service. So that's why we're promoting more private investments into that. And very shortly, we'll be unveiling our plans for other like I said, Lautoka and CWM in terms of bringing prices down so that it is made more affordable to the ordinary Fijian. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Salary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Minister for Health, for your explanation. The 2016-2017 budget cites 10 million for free medicine, and you have stated that you don't have funds or sufficient funds for the kidney dialysis program. So can you confirm to this House if you can transfer via 5 million from the free medicine project, bearing in mind that the shortage of drug, which focuses on the ineffective procuring system, so the money must be there. So can you confirm that you can transfer 5 million from the free medicine project to fund the kidney dialysis program? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member, you have made a recommendation and you just want the Honorable Minister to confirm?
Yes, can she confirm? Can she do it?
Onus is on you.
Madam Speaker, I will not confirm to the recommendation, but if as the need arises, it's the prerogative of the government and the ministers to see where funds can be wired to complement the other program.